In this lecture, I would like to discuss about the conductometry first experiment. The aim of the experiment is to study the effect of substituents on the dissociation constant of acetic acid conductometrically. To study the effect of substituents on the dissociation constant of acetic acid conductometrically. So let us say acetic acid, it is dissociated as acetic acid. It is a weak monobasic acid. So acetic acid, it is dissociated as H plus ion and acetate ion. Now acetic acid is a weak acid. So its dissociation constant value, it is around 1.5 into 10 raised to minus 5. Now, what is the effect of the substituents on the dissociation constant of the acetic acid? Suppose one of the hydrogen of this methyl group, it is replaced by the chlorine, then that is monochloroacetic acid. Monochloroacetic acid. So in this case, one hydrogen it is replaced by chlorine. So it is now monochloroacetic acid. Monochloroacetic acid. So what is the effect of this one chlorine group? Actually, it can be represented in this way. Chlorine, it is the electron withdrawing group. The nature of the chlorine, it is a electron withdrawing group. So when this chlorine, it is bonded to the carbon atom, what happens here? Due to the electron withdrawing nature of the chlorine, the electron density, it is shifted towards the chlorine. Therefore, this hydrogen, it is dissociated, or the monochloroacetic acid loses the proton more easily as compared to the acetic acid. So on dissociation, it will give H plus ion and this monochloroacetate ions. Okay. So in this case, dissociation is quite faster as compared to acetic acid, because due to the electron withdrawing nature of chlorine, the hydrogen get released easily here, and dissociation of the monochloroacetic acid, it is takes place easier as compared to the acetic acid. Now let us see what happens in case of the trichloroacetic acid. Trichloroacetic acid, where two hydrogen are replaced by two chlorine atoms. So here, in case of the trichloroacetic acid, so as the two chlorine groups are there attached to the carbon atom, so nature of the chlorine, it is electron withdrawing. Okay, so it will withdraw the electron. So in this case, the hydrogen, it is released fast as compared to the monochloroacetic acid and this acetic acid. Okay, so the dissociation constant value will be going to be increasing. For acetic acid, suppose it is 1.5 into 10 raised to minus 5. So for monochloroacetic acid, this value should be higher. For trichloroacetic acid, the dissociation constant value will be higher. So what is the effect of the substituents on the dissociation constant of the acetic acid? The effect of the substituent is that as the electron withdrawing group, it is attached to the neighboring carbon atom, then the hydrogen ions are released faster as compared to the acetic acid. That's why the dissociation constant value will be increases. So we can say that the dissociation constant of trichloroacetic acid, it is highest. It is expected that the dissociation constant value of trichloroacetic acid will be higher than monochloroacetic acid than acetic acid. Okay. So now we have to perform the experiment on this. Practically, we have to show how the dissociation constant value of these monochloroacetic acid and trichloroacetic acid will be changes as the hydrogen it is replaced by the chlorine atoms in this acetic acid. So to perform this experiment, we require conductometer, conductivity cell, then we require conductivity water, then the three solutions we require to perform the experiment. First one, it is 0.1 molar solution of potassium chloride, zero point 0.1 molar monochloroacetic acid and trichloroacetic acid. This is the requirement. Now in this experiment, first of all, we have to prepare the solutions. We have to prepare the solutions from the stock solution. Let us see how we have to prepare the solutions here and how we can prepare the solutions. So let us show here the stock solution. It is the monochloroacetic acid. We are given the two solutions here. First one, it is monochloroacetic acid. Monochloroacetic acid. This is the stock solution which is given here. The concentration of this monochloroacetic acid, it is 0.1 molar. And from this 0.1 molar, this is the stock solution which is given to us. Okay. So from this 0.1 molar monochloroacetic acid, we have to prepare other solutions, other dilutions. That is 0.05 molar monochloroacetic acid, 0.025 molar monochloroacetic acid, then 0.0125 monochloroacetic acid and 0.00625 molar monochloroacetic acid. So these four concentrations we have to prepare. These four concentrations we have to prepare. So simply by using the formula M1V1 equal to M2V2, we can prepare these solutions. So how much volume of monochloroacetic acid is required? Okay. So on this side, we have to write 0.1 molar monochloroacetic acid. And on this side, we have to write the solution which is to be prepared 0.05 molar. So see now, molarity, it is 0.1 molar here. How much volume is required? That is not known to us. So it is V1. How much volume we have to take? Now M2, it is 0.05. That is molarity of this monochloroacetic acid. That is we are going to prepare this solution. And suppose we have to prepare 50 ml of this solution. Then V1, it is equal to 0.05 into 50 divided by 0.1. So this becomes equal to 40 ml. This becomes equal to, sorry, not 40 ml. So let us do the calculation here. For 0.05 molar, this becomes equal to 25 ml. So we have to take the 25 ml of the diluted solution. We have to take the 25 ml of the 0.1 molar monochloroacetic acid in the 50 ml dilution flask. So I would like to show this diagrammatically. You can see here. See, these are the four dilution flasks we require. Preparations of concentrations, different concentrations of monochloroacetic acid. So this is flask 1, flask 2, flask 3 and flask 4. Okay. So for this 0.05 molar monochloroacetic acid, in this flask number 1, we have to take 25 ml of 0.1 molar of monochloroacetic acid solution, and then we should have to dilute this up to the mark using the distilled water. Using the distilled water, we have to dilute this. Then the concentration of the solution becomes 0.05 molar monochloroacetic acid. In the flask number 2, we have to take 12.5 ml 12.5 ml of 0.1 molar monochloroacetic acid solution, and remaining quantity it is distilled water. We have to dilute up to the mark. In flask number 3, we should have to take the solution of monochloroacetic acid. It is around 6.25 in this. Then the concentration of the solution becomes equal to 0.0125 molar. Then for last number solution, we have to take around half of this 6.25. It is 3.125. 3.125. So around this ml, we have to take the solution here of monochloroacetic acid and dilute it up to the mark. So in this way, we can prepare the 4 concentrations. First one, it is 0.05. Second one, it is 0.025. Third one, it is 0.0125. And last one, it is 0.0 here, 0.0625, 00625. Okay. So this is for monochloroacetic acid. Then similarly for trichloroacetic acid, the same process we have to follow. Trichloroacetic acid, the same process. In the another 4 dilution flask, 50 ml dilution flask, by the same way we have to prepare the solution. Only we have to take trichloroacetic acid here. The concentration of the trichloroacetic acid, it is a 0.1 molar it is given. So for first solution, take 25 ml in this dilution flask, then dilute it up to the mark using the distilled water. So in this way, we can prepare here the number of the solutions of monochloroacetic acid and trichloroacetic acid. Once we complete the preparation of the solution, that part, then later on we have to measure the conductance of each solution. We have to measure the conductance of each solution on the conductometer. First of all, we have to standardize the conductometer. How we can standardize the conductometer? Let us see. In a beaker, we have to take the conductivity water or pure distilled water here, and this knob, then we have to dip the conductivity cell into this water and connect it backside. The connections are given there. Then on this 2 millisiemens, we have to keep the knob here. This signal will be red signal is there, 2 millisiemens. It is 2 millisiemens. Okay, so this display will show the reading around 1.000. It means that conductometer, it is in the standardized condition. And this standard condition, this knob, this red signal should be on here. Okay, there is a red signal. This red, this button becomes red here. When we put this standard condition, this switch on there, then this is red signal is here. Okay, so in this way we have to standardize the conductometer here. The display shows the reading 1.00. After the standardization, we are going to measure the conductance of the solution. So in another beaker, we have to take the 0.01 molar 0.1 molar KCl solution. Take around 50 ml in the 100 ml beaker and dip this conductivity cell into the 0.1 molar KCl solution and measure the conductance of the KCl solution. Measure the conductance of 0.1 molar KCl solution. Okay, so and write there conductance of 0.1 molar KCl solution. Conductance of 0.1 molar KCl solution. Suppose that this reading it is something 12.88, then we should have to multiply it by 10 raised to minus 3, because we are taking the readings in the millisiemens. Milli means 10 raised to minus 3. Okay, so we have to convert this millisiemen into the siemen. Now this is in siemen. The unit of the conductance it is here siemen, and there is a no red signal here. So we have to come out of this standardized condition. Then take this by moving this, take this button on this 20 millimoles. Now this will be there will be the red signal here, and take the readings here at this red signal. Okay, so conductance of 0.1 molar KCl solution, it is equal to 12.88 into 10 raised to minus 3. Okay, now with the help of this reading, we can determine the cell constant. So cell constant, it is equal to specific conductance of 0.1 molar KCl solution divided by the conductance of the 0.1 molar KCl solution. Okay, so with the help of that, we can calculate the cell constant. You can see here how we can calculate the cell constant. It is very simple one. Okay, cell constant, it is equal to specific conductance of 0.1 molar KCl solution. It is divided by conductance. It is divided by conductance of 0.1 molar KCl solution. Now this specific conductance of 0.1 molar KCl solution, it is given at the particular temperature. Now suppose that temperature it is 25 degrees centigrade. If the higher temperature is there, then this value will be changes. This value it is given, specific conductance, it is equal to. So specific conductance of 0.1 normal KCl solution, that value it is a given value. It is around 1.288 into 10 raised to minus 3. Now it is divided by conductance of the 0.1 normal KCl solution. We already measure the conductance here. So it is 12.88 into 10 raised to minus 3. So if we do this calculation, the value should be equal to around 1.0. It is having the unit per centimeter. Cell constant, it is having the unit per centimeter. So in this way, we can determine the conductance. This is 10 raised to minus 2, 10 raised to minus 2. Okay. This value should be equal to 0.01288. So it is 1.88 into 10 raised to minus 2 divided by, so we are getting the cell constant around this value. Cell constant becomes equal to, okay. Now after doing the after the determination of the cell constant, then the next part it is to measure the conductance of monochloroacetic acid solution and trichloroacetic acid solution. As already we have been prepared the solution by using this. We have been prepared the solution of monochloroacetic acid and trichloroacetic acid. So in each we have to measure the conductance of each solution here. So in a beaker, let us take 50 ml of that diluted solution of monochloroacetic acid. First concentration, suppose it is 0.05. Okay, so let us take 0.05 molar solution of monochloroacetic acid here. In this beaker, 0.05 monochloroacetic acid. Okay, it is monochloroacetic acid in the beaker. Monochloroacetic acid solution in the beaker. Dip the conductivity cell and connect to the back side here and measure the conductance. We have to take the readings at 20 millisiemens at this. Okay, suppose that this reading becomes equal to 4.74 into 10 raised to minus 3. Now it is in Siemens. We have to multiply it by 10 raised to minus 3 because we are taking the reading in millisiemens. So to convert into the Siemens, we should have to multiply that by 10 raised to minus 3. So in the observation table, we have to write that reading. You can see here first concentration for monochloroacetic acid. Okay, for monochloroacetic acid, that is the first concentration, which is here 0.05 molar concentration. Suppose that reading it is conductance 4.74 into 10 raised to minus 3. Then the next concentration it is 0.0125. So for this supposed to be it is 3.12 into 10 raised to minus 3. Okay. Then the third solution, that is 0. Sorry, this is not 125. This is 25 only. Now next it is 0.125. So suppose that this reading it is 2 point something, 2.1 into 10 raised to minus 3. And last concentration it is 0.00625. So suppose that this reading it is 1.4 into 10 raised to minus 3. So you can see here conductance it is going to be increases as the concentration it is going to be decreases. So after measuring the conductance, we have to determine the specific conductance of each solution. So we can determine the specific conductance. Specific conductance it is having the symbol K. So specific conductance K equal to cell constant multiplied by conductance. Okay, multiplied by the conductance. Suppose it is L symbol, conductance L. So we have to multiply it by cell constant into the conductance. Okay, so for this every reading we have to multiply it by the cell constant here. Suppose that cell constant it is equal to 1.0. Then conductance and specific conductance values are same. Okay, so 4.74 into 10 raised to minus 3, same values we are getting here. When it is possible? When the conductance becomes equal to 1.0 and unit of the cell constant, when the cell constant becomes equal to 1.0 and it is having the unit per centimeter here. Okay, now we have to determine the corrected specific conductance. So to determine the corrected specific conductance, that is the third column here, corrected specific conductance. So how we can determine this corrected specific conductance? Corrected specific conductance, that is the symbol, it is K corrected. Okay, K corrected here. So it is equal to, so K corrected it is equal to specific conductance of the solution, K of the solution minus K of the water. Okay, specific conductance of the solution minus specific conductance of the water, because we prepare the solution in water and sometime water also shows some conductance. Therefore we have to subtract the specific conductance of the water from the specific conductance of the solution. Okay, so the specific conductance of the water it is determined by measuring the conductance of water, distilled water, conductance of distilled water. So suppose that if we are getting the reading as like of the 0.01 into 10 raised to minus 3, this is the conductance of distilled water. Then we have to determine the specific conductance of water. So specific conductance of water it is equal to specific conductance of water, it is equal to, okay, so specific conductance of the water, it is equal to cell constant multiplied by conductance of water. So cell constant, suppose it is 1.0 into this is the conductance 0.01 into 10 raised to minus 3. So it is equal to 0.01 into 10 raised to minus 3. So that is the specific conductance of water here. Okay. So let us see in this table specific corrected specific conductance. So we have to subtract the conductance of the water from this. Okay. So if the conductance of the water becomes equal to 0, then the specific conductance and corrected specific conductance will be same. Suppose it is expected that the conductance of the water becomes equal to 0.0, then specific conductance and corrected conductance are same. After this, now let us going to be determine the molar conductance of the solution. Calculation part now. Molar conductance of the solution. After doing this calculation of the corrected specific conductance, let us do now the calculation for molar conductance. So how we can determine the molar conductance here? Molar conductance. So molar conductance, it is supposed to be having the symbol molar conductance. It is equal to specific conductance into 1000 divided by C. Corrected specific conductance, now we have to take here corrected specific conductance, where C is the concentration. Okay, so using this we can calculate the molar conductance of the solution. So for 4 concentrations we have to calculate the molar conductance here, and let us write all that values here. Then we have to determine the dissociation constant alpha. We have to calculate the dissociation constant alpha. So dissociation constant alpha, it is equal to dissociation constant alpha, it is equal to molar conductance divided by molar conductance at 0 concentration. So you can see here molar conductance of monochloroacetic acid and trichloroacetic acid is given at 0 concentration. This value is given here, 420 for monochloroacetic acid and 460 for trichloroacetic acid. So for the first table, suppose that this is the table for monochloroacetic acid. Monochloroacetic acid. There are two observations table here. First one, it is for monochloroacetic acid. Okay, monochloroacetic acid. So for this first table, we have to calculate the dissociation constant alpha using this formula. We already calculate this molar conductance values. Then put this value 420. It is divided by 420. Okay. Then we are getting here the values of the molar degree of dissociation alpha. Degree of dissociation. And after that we have to calculate the Ka value, dissociation constant value. So Ka, it is equal to alpha square into C divided by 1 minus alpha. Using this equation, we can calculate the dissociation constant value for that particular concentration. So 4 calculations we have to perform. Putting the value of the alpha here, alpha square C divided by 1 minus alpha. Okay. So after this calculation of the K value, let us calculate here log K value. Then calculate alpha into C, this alpha multiplied by this C concentration, and finally under root of alpha into C. Okay, alpha into C. So in this way we can have to show all the calculations very systematically. Okay, so once again I would like to explain this. We measure the conductance with the help of the conductometer. Once again you can see here, this is the conductometer. So with the help of this conductometer, just we have to take the required solution here and connect it to the instrument and measure the conductance at 20 millimoles. Okay, 20 millimoles. So there are 4 concentrations. So we should have to measure the conductance of the 4 solutions here. These 4 solutions. Okay. Then with the help of the conductance, we have to calculate the specific conductance. Specific conductance, it is equal to cell constant multiplied by conductance. Then we have to determine the corrected specific conductance. So K corrected, it is equal to K of the solution, means this, minus K of the water, specific conductance of the water. Then we can determine molar conductance here. So molar conductance, it is equal to 1000 into 1000 multiplied by K multiplied by 1000 divided by C. Then we can determine alpha using this formula. We can determine this K value. Okay, and we can calculate log K alpha into C under root of alpha into C. So this is for monochloroacetic acid. Then the same process can be used for trichloroacetic acid, and we have to measure the conductance of trichloroacetic acids for these 4 concentrations, and we have to show all the calculations systematically by the same way as like of the monochloroacetic acid. The same way we have to do the calculations here for trichloroacetic acid. Only we have to change this lambda 0 value, that is 460, it is given for trichloroacetic acid. Okay, so in this way, in this experiment we can determine the dissociation constant value for monochloroacetic acid and trichloroacetic acid. Let us see what are the calculations are given here. All the calculations we have to represent systematically. Okay, how we can determine the corrected specific conductance? It is mentioned here: subtract the specific conductance of conductivity water from the conductance of each of the acid solution. This corrected specific conductance here. Okay, specific conductance of the solution minus specific conductance of the water, that is given here. Calculate the molar conductance at different concentrations. So we know which equation can be used to determine the molar conductance for each concentration. So the equation for the molar conductance, it is equal to K into 1000 divided by concentration C. So once we calculate this lambda m value, molar conductance at different concentration, then we have to calculate after that a degree of dissociation. So degree of dissociation, it is equal to molar conductance divided by molar conductance at 0 concentration, and this value is given. Okay, so it is equal to molar conductance at particular concentration divided by molar conductance at 0 concentration, it is 420, it is 420. Then later on we have to calculate the dissociation constant value. Already I have been explained this dissociation constant value K8 is equal to alpha square into C divided by 1 minus alpha. Okay, so we can calculate the K value for all the concentrations. Then later on we have to plot the graph of log Ka versus under root of alpha into C. Which graph? Log Ka against versus under root of alpha into C. And from this graph we have to determine, by plotting this graph, we can determine here the molar conductance at with the help of this graph here we can determine the dissociation constant value of each acid. Okay, dissociation constant value, the nature of the graph, I think it will be like this. Okay, like this. So with the help of this graph, log of K value should be here, and on the y-axis we have to take under root of alpha into C. Okay, so we can determine here the dissociation constant value here K from the graph. Okay, so you can see the result table here. This is by calculation, and similarly we have to write here uh, K K value by graph also. Okay, so for monochloroacetic acid we have to write that value here. For trichloroacetic acid we have to write that value here. So in this way we can determine the dissociation constant of monochloroacetic acid and trichloroacetic acid. Suppose that we are getting such values are here. You can see here it is around 1.75. Suppose that it is around 3.1 into 10 raised to minus 3, and this value should be equal to approximately suppose 9.8 into 10 raised to minus 3. So you can see here the dissociation constant value for the trichloroacetic acid is always greater. Okay, after the calculation we can show we will get these values here. So it means that what is the effect of the substituent? As the two chlorine atoms are here in the trichloroacetic acid, the dissociation constant value is also increases. So in case of the trichloroacetic acid, the dissociation is faster as compared to the acetic acid and monochloroacetic acid. So in this way we perform this experiment. Okay, we perform this experiment for the determination of dissociation constant of monochloroacetic acid and trichloroacetic acid.